Probably not going to do it inside because it's going to take forever. But this shir is on the Beis Hamikdash. The Beis Hamikdash, there's a famous machlekes of who's going to build the Beis Hamikdash when Mashiach comes. Who will build it? There's places that say that the Beis Hamikdash will be built by Hashem, will come down from the Shemayim, from the heavens. And there is other opinions who say that the Beis Hamikdash will be built by Mashiach. There's a Gemara brought down in Baba Kama. It says, it speaks about the dinim regarding a fire. When someone's property has a fire, which if someone has it in his property, which he ignites a fire, and the fire goes ahead and starts destroying other people's fields. It says, and it's brought down in a pasuk in the Torah. It says, "Kiseitze eish u'matzah kaitzim." When a fire goes out and it finds thorns. Seitzim ma'atzma. It says the fire goes out on its own. The fire goes out on its own. And it says, "Shalom yishalim himar v'saveya," that the one who ignited the fire has to pay for the damages that it caused. So we see on one hand it says the fire went out on its own. On the other hand, we see the person, it came from his kayak that he lit it, and therefore he is liable for any damage that it does. So it's brought down that in the Maral, he explains how, which is Netzach Yisrael, he explains how that on one hand it came from the person's kayak that he ignited the fire. But on the other hand, the fire has its own kayak for itself that could do outrageous behavior which the person didn't expect beforehand. A fire could explode, it could cause more damage than he did. And the Gemara further on, it says that, this is where it's connected to the Beis Hamikdash. It says like this: Amar Kadosh Baruch Hashem says, "Alai l'shalom esaveya." Hashem is speaking about this that he destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. He says that I'm going to have to pay back for burning what I ignited, to pay back for what I lit. Ani hitzitzi eish b'tzion, I lit a fire in Tzion. And it says, Shenema vayitzas eish b'tzion v'tuchi yisod. A fire came out and it destroyed the foundations. And then it goes on the Gemara and it says, Va'ani osid livnoisa. In the future I will go ahead and build it be'ish, with fire. And it brings a source and it brings on the pasuk which says, Shneimar v'ani ayalah chaimis eish. I will be a pillar, like a fire, like a wall. Saviv. Hashem's glory will be in it. So we see just that Hashem is saying that He ignited the fire. What does that mean? So there is explanation that's given, it's brought down in the Marshal, that Hashem is always good, is a good, he always wants to do good, he's always good, he's kuli type, he's all good. And therefore, that a fire, whatever Hashem has done is for the good. So that the fire came out and burned the Beis Hamikdash, Hashem is considering it as if, even though it came the fire, why was the fire destroying the Beis Hamikdash? It's because of the sins that the Yidden did. And that's why the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. On the other hand, Hashem is considering it as if He was the one who ignited the fire. And I said, and the main point over here we're trying to discuss is the fact that Hashem is saying that He's going to build it. That the Beis Hamikdash is going to be built by Hashem. Fine. I'm not going to go through a whole arichas over here, but basically we see many sources is brought down how we see focusing on the fact that Hashem can be the one building the Beis Hamikdash, rebuilding it. And it's also brought down in the Zayar over here. It says that the first Beis Hamikdash and the second Beis Hamikdash was built by handmade. It was made by man, and therefore it wasn't everlasting. It was destroyed afterwards. Since when humans make something, it doesn't last forever. But on the other hand, when Hashem, with the third Beis Hamikdash will be built by Hashem, that's going to be an everlasting house. It's going to be an everlasting Beis Hamikdash. Like it says in the Kentillim, Im Hashem la yivna ba'yishav amla. The Zohar quotes this, that if the Hashem does not build the Beis Hamikdash, it's for nothing, because because it's showing, emphasizing how when it's built by Hashem, then it has an everlasting to it. Fine. And it's brought down that, and there's a difference. There's an opinion which is sources in the Medrash, and it's also brought down in the Rambam. If you look in the Hilchas Ramin, the Hilchas Malachim of the Rambam, he says, he's speaking about Mashiach. He's coming to prepare the world. Is that how do you know that Mashiach is for sure Mashiach? So it says if he was successful in what he did, that he was victorious over the nations of the world. And then it says Uvana Mikdash b'Mekimei. It says that the Mashiach, he will build the Beis HaMikdash in its place. So we see how the Rambam is bringing down halacha that how do you know that Mashiach is for sure Mashiach? Is that if he actually builds the Beis HaMikdash. So you see how the Beis HaMikdash is being built by Mashiach. Exactly. And it's also brought down in the Medrash over here that speaks about that Mashiach is with the Yidden in Galus, and he will bring back the people from who are in the north and bring them to the south, to Darim, where it says that the Yivna Beis HaMikdash Hanasam Darim. He'll build the Beis HaMikdash. That Mashiach will build the Beis HaMikdash, which is in the south. So we see over here from the Rambam, and the Halach is actually the Rambam that Mashiach will build the Beis HaMikdash. And on the other hand, we see all this before we explain how we see how it's focusing on the fact that Hashem is building it. So how do we compromise these two ways of explaining that on one hand the Beis HaMikdash will be built by Hashem, and on the other hand will be built through Mashiach? So it's brought down in the Sefer Aruch LaNer. It says that each opinion is correct. Both opinions are correct. That there's going to be a Beis HaMikdash, which is a Ruchnius Beis HaMikdash, which will be coming from the heavens, from Hashem, and it will be enclosed in a physical Beis HaMikdash, which will be built through man. It will be enclosed in a physical Beis HaMikdash.
Who says that?
The Aruch LaNer. It's not on there. It's not on the sheet. Fine. And the Rebbe actually brings down in the Sikh and he says that in Hilchot Beis Bechir he explains that the certain parts of the Beis HaMikdash, this is a different answer to explain the difference of opinions. He explains that they're both correct. That the parts of the Beis HaMikdash that we know how to build, that will be built through us. But there's certain parts which we do not know about the third Beis HaMikdash. Like if you learn, the Rambam quotes that it's me'ein had the Beis HaMikdash, the third Beis HaMikdash will be similar to the second Beis HaMikdash, but not all the details of the third Beis HaMikdash we know about. So all those the parts of the Beis HaMikdash we know about, that will be built through man, through Mashiach, but the parts that we do not know about will be brought down from Shemayim, from the heavens. And like we see, and it's like that's why we see in many places it explains about the third Beis HaMikdash. Like we see in Yechezkel, he explains at length about the third Beis HaMikdash. So we see there is parts of it that we do know about the third Beis HaMikdash, which we will build. And we know it also says in the Torah, clear pasuk says also li mikdash, you should make a Beis HaMikdash, which we see how it's made through human efforts, through Mashiach. And there's another explanation, another reason to compromise the two opinions, is that it's brought down in the Megillah of Eicha. It says like this. It says in the Megillah of Eicha, in the second parak, it says Tavu be'eretz sha'areh. It says that, what does that mean? Tavu be'eretz sha'areh. That gates, the sha'ar of the Beis HaMikdash, Tavu be'eretz, was sunken into the ground. That by the second Beis HaMikdash, it says the gates of the Beis HaMikdash were sunken into the ground, and the Rebbe explains that those gates are the part that is made by man, it's made through the human efforts by Mashiach. On the other hand, the rest of the Beis HaMikdash will be coming from the Shemayim, from the heavens. but just the gates which are sunken into the ground, that was built through Mashiach.
So takes it out.
So will come out, yeah. What?
Mashiach takes it out.
How's he exactly doing it? That I don't know. But
Wait, this the Rebbe said also? This the Rebbe said? Or who said this?
I think so. Yeah. And there's another, and it's also brought down, we say in Musaf on Yom Tov, we say, V'har'einu ben Yonai v'samchinu b'sikunai. V'har'einu ben Yonai refers to, we will see the building, V'har'einu ben Yonai, we'll see the building, that means the building, the part of the Beis HaMikdash that will be coming from the heavens. V'samchinu b'sikunai, and we were rejoicing in its fixing up, that shows that part of B'yidei Adam will be partly made through man. So, yeah. And there's another opinion that explains the compromise between the opinions is that if we are zeicha, if we merit, the Beis HaMikdash will come from off of heaven. But if we're not zeicha, it will have to be built through human effort. That's another explanation. And there was a story about the Mordechai Eliyahu. Once he went into the Rebbe, that he told the Rebbe that we won't have to wait. The Mordechai Eliyahu told the Rebbe that we don't have to wait till the Beis HaMikdash is going to be built. When Mashiach comes, we won't have to wait till the Beis HaMikdash will be built. It's because the Beis HaMikdash will be coming from the heavens. We're not going to have to wait for it. And so the Rebbe responded, therefore the Beis HaMikdash could even come during the nighttime then, because since it's going to be built from the heavens, it can come any time. And we merit that we should experience this, the coming of the Beis HaMikdash and Shlishi, in Hevi Aminu Mamish.
Amen.
Amen.